Hello there, it is Monday the 26th of August. Thanks very much for making time with us on NTV tonight. I'm Smriti, Vidyarthi, and these are the stories we're following for you.
Tonight, not my call. I won't pick your call.
Hakuna pahali ile mtu alikuwa anapiga simu, mambo yamekwenda, ni noma, nisaidie. Hizo simu zilizimwa. Sasa ni wewe ujitetee.
DPP declares more high-profile arrests in the offing.
You will see KRA officials being prosecuted, and not only at the low and mid level, but also the highest level.
Plus, factories shut down for pollution.
They've been discharging to the environment without treating wastewater.
NTV expose continues to cause ripples. Also tonight, government clamping down on census-related crimes. 35 in custody as enumeration continues into the third night.
You can open at 5 and drink responsibly.
And GSU and KDF deployed in Forole. Children injured in Marsabit fighting airlifted to Nairobi.
NTV Tonight with Smriti, Vidyarthi.
Joining us in sign language tonight is Flora Atieno. Commissioners at the Kenya Revenue Authority will not be sleeping easy tonight after the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nurdin Haji, revealed that some of them were under investigation for conspiracy to commit tax fraud. The DPP made the startling revelations as the President made it abundantly clear that he will not intercede on behalf of the well-connected should they find themselves in trouble over graft. NTV's Olive Burrows spoke to the DPP and filed this report.
A smile can belie a myriad of emotions, so don't let his smile fool you. Director of Public Prosecutions Nurdin Haji is dead serious about the war on graft. And should you be in doubt, you need look no further than this.
You will see KRA officials being prosecuted, and not only at the low and mid level, but also the highest level. In terms of even commissioners that we are looking into investigating. Once we have the evidence, we are satisfied, we'll prosecute them.
Responding to Keroche Brewery's chief executive, Tabitha Karanja's claim that the tax evasion charges against her are baseless, the DPP turned on the seatbelt sign, a warning that officials at the Kenya Revenue Authority best buckle up, as the turbulence that rocked the taxman in May was just but a precursor to the shake-up that's intended to shake loose the corrupt element at the agency. And the DPP is not a man to make idle threats, as Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich, and several former and serving governors can attest. Cabinet secretaries who had a hand in the stalled Itaria Dam project have also been put on notice.
The investigations are ongoing, and if need be, yes, they will be called just like the other ones.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has also been unequivocal that he will not stand in the way of due process, no matter the suspect.
Hakuna pahali ile mtu alikuwa anapiga simu, mambo yamekwenda, ni noma, nisaidie. Hizo simu zilizimwa. Sasa ni wewe ujitetee.
And in an indication of things to come,
kuna wasee sasa wameamua kufa kupona. Kazi hii ya kuchimbua tabu. So please, msiseme ni mimi sijatuma mtu. Wewe ndio umekuta ukifanya lako. Na hawa wasee hawachesi. I'm telling you. Hawachesi na hawacheki. Tutasoma sisi tu kwa magazeti. Fulani ndio huyo tena ameenda, huyo siku nyingine fulani ndio huyo ameenda.
Like oil and water, the DPP says the war on graft and politics should not mix. And with the full backing of the president, he's assured that there will be no sacred cows. Olive Burrows reporting for NTV from Naivasha.
Well, I hope you got that loud and clear. Don't even try to call Mr. President. Elsewhere, the Judicial Service Commission this morning began looking at the petition presented against Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu by the Director of Public Prosecution. The DPP wants Mwilu investigated and possibly removed from office. Mwilu is accused of involvement in the irregular sale and acquisition of property, including obtaining the execution of a security by false pretense. The DPP forwarded its petition to the Judicial Service Commission after it lost its bid to prosecute Mwilu in court. The commissioners deliberated on the substance of the petition and found a case worth probing. Well, the plenary of the JSC then recommended the formation of a small committee of the JSC to look into the allegations against one of their own. Mwilu was then given time to respond, and her submissions were the subject of today's deliberations. Now, if the tribunal finds a strong case against her, they will recommend to the Chief Justice to advise the President to then form a tribunal that will then begin the process of her removal. Now, the prosecution has lined up 67 witnesses in the graft case against Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, his wife Susan Wangari and 12 others. They're facing charges in relation to the irregular award of a 588 million shilling road tender in Kiambu County. Now, the court also directed the members of the County Assembly who wanted to be included in the case to make a formal application to be enjoined in the case. The pre-trial hearing is set for the 27th of September. Officials from the National Environment Management Authority, that's NEMA, have shut down 4 companies in the capital that have been discharging their waste into Nairobi River. The officers said it was just the beginning, as the crackdown on those releasing their toxic flow into rivers will be extending countrywide.
Early today, staff of Kamongo Waste Paper Limited, a recycling company along Kampala Road in Nairobi's industrial area, received some uninvited guests. The officers from the National Environment Management Authority were here for an inspection. They wanted to see how the company was disposing its waste and at the same time check whether they had proper documents to run their business. This company was among those in the list of offenders in documents from the Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company seen by NTV, polluting industries releasing their untreated toxic flow into the Nairobi River. And when they could not check all the boxes in NEMA's checklist, Kamongo Waste Paper Limited was shut down. It was one of 4 companies shut down for offending rules on effluent discharge.
The first one is Modern Lithography, Apex Limited, which manufactures paint, Tholite Kenya, and Kamongo Paper Recycling. Kamongo does not have efficient pretreatment plant, and they've been discharging to the environment without treating wastewater to the public sewer.
NEMA officials also visited Chloride Exide a few blocks from where they were. Some of the staff they found there explained how they got rid of their waste.
We've given them improvement orders. We've looked at their records, air pollution, emissions. We are going to do some tests here also, further tests, to ascertain that they are in line with our regulations also. The exercise will also continue tomorrow. We'll do aggressive campaigns to ensure most of these facilities that are discharging to our rivers will stop this discharge.
NEMA says it's on a mission to restore the lost glory of some of the country's major rivers. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
Further afield, the government has deployed GSU and KDF officers to Forole in Marsabit County in a bid to restore peace to the troubled region. The government has further deployed more officers to the border following increased attacks between the communities on either side of Kenya's border with Ethiopia.
Life in the conflict-torn Forole, Marsabit County is slowly crawling back to normal. This is their main source of livelihood and one of the major sources of conflict in this region. Police presence has improved since the weekend attacks, amid reports that residents were fleeing their homes. Fear remains a constant phenomenon. 2 land cruisers full of GSU officers arrived earlier today as reinforcement for the boots on the ground. There are reports that military officers are expected in the area Tuesday to set up a temporary camp in an effort to bring peace. At the attack area, the county commissioner held a closed-door meeting with the area elders, politicians, and security personnel as he also passed a condolence message from the government. 2 children who suffered bullet wounds, one on the head and another on the leg, were airlifted to Nairobi for further treatment. According to residents who spoke to NTV on condition of anonymity, the attackers were well known to them as they have related freely before, not bothered by the border that separates the 2 countries. The attacks that occurred on Saturday night and Sunday morning left 12 Kenyans and 1 Ethiopian militiaman dead. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV.
Well, from the ruin in Marsabit to a disease that's ravaging parts of Baringo. An 8-year-old child succumbed to malaria earlier today in Tiaty sub-county, bringing the number of malaria-related deaths to 7. The child died while on his way to Lamu Hospital in West Pokot.
For more than a week now, residents of Tiaty in Baringo County have been battling a malaria outbreak. The rough terrain, lack of hospitals, insecurity, and poor communication have all worked against them. The death toll has now gone up to 7 after a child aged 8 succumbed to malaria on his way to Lamu Hospital in West Pokot. On Sunday, the county government dispatched medical personnel from Baringo County Referral Hospital to the affected areas. But the response has been slow because of poor infrastructure.
But I can say things are under control because our team is on the ground. And I can say with a lot of confidence that this one we will manage. It is not as worse as the one of 2017. We are having continuous surveillance to monitor the trends of this malaria outbreak. And there is continuous distribution of insecticide-treated nets. We have enough drugs.
It is unfortunate that we are getting the same outbreak again this time in this county. It is a bit ashaming because it would mean that we have not done enough to prevent it, even having had the same problem last year, 2017. Prevention is the way to go. If we wait for treatment, we are not going to win the game because we find the place is so far. At times we don't have the facilities there.
At Kongor Dispensary, which is yet to be completed, patients are eagerly waiting for medical assistance under shrubs and dry riverbeds. The entire Akoret division has no health facility. Nearby ones are estimated to be hundreds of kilometers to Chemolingot in Tiaty and Lomut in West Pokot. Patients have to walk kilometers in search of treatment. The health center, which is still under construction, has stalled for more than 2 years. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
As the walls around the Secretary-General of the Kenya National Union of Teachers, Wilson Sossion, cave in, the besieged nut boss has now put off a special meeting of the National Executive Council scheduled for Thursday, and that was aimed at mending the cracks within the giant teachers' union. Now, this follows an attempt by some from within his ranks to forcibly eject him from office on Tuesday. His members have suffered a series of setbacks in recent days, and over 90,000 of NUT's members opted to leave the union in a protracted dispute over their employer, the Teachers Service Commission. There are claims the teachers quit the union for fear of being locked out of ongoing promotions. Well, Sossion now risks a vote of no confidence, but he may just be running out of cards to quell the revolt from within. And to another looming confrontation, this time between the government and communities that have made homes in the thinning Mouth Forest. The steering committee tasked with the restoration of the forest complex said that the 10,000 households targeted in the second phase of eviction will be given a grace period of 60 days to move out of the forest. The chair of the 10-member committee, who's also the Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, George Natembea, says the exercise will be carried out with dignity.
Mahali tumefikia sasa hatutapoteza wakati tena kwa sababu the consequences ya kuharibu ule msitu iko na sisi sasa. Ningependa kushukuru viongozi wetu wote wala naongea wanasiasa, mmesikia wakisema wanaunga mkono sana mambo ya kuhifadhi msitu. Ila lugha ya kusema kwamba watu waendelee kukaa kwa misitu, nafikiri hakuna mwanasiasa kwa sababu mnasikia anasema watu wabaki pale. Ile maneno wanasiasa wanaongea sasa ni jinsi watu watatoka katika hiyo msitu, na ndio jukumu ya hii steering committee. Tutakuwa tunafanya hiyo kazi kuhakikisha kwamba wakati tunaanza kufanya hiyo kazi inafanya katika njia ambayo ni haitaleta mambo ya utata sana ama kuonekana kwamba ni kama watu wanakuwa harassed.
Elsewhere, the Jubilee Party will field a candidate in the Kibra by-election slated for the 7th of November. The party says it stands a pretty good chance of success in the by-election based on how it fared in Langata, and asks all those interested to submit their names to the party's election board by Friday. The party Secretary-General has, however, dismissed as fake another letter doing the rounds on social media containing the list of 5 aspirants, including footballer McDonald Mariga, that intends to vet for nomination of the party's ticket. Tuju says the letter was meant to serve the agenda of specific interests within the party and will even be seeking the services of the Director of Criminal Investigations to probe how his signature was forged. Meanwhile, ODM today vetted aspirants interested in replacing Ken Okoth, who died in July, as it prepares for the party nominations on Saturday. It's 1:15 the hour. Time for a quick breather on NTV Tonight. As always, there's more coming up. Government clamps down on census crimes. A status update of the week-long exercise coming up in a moment.
Do you like a challenge? Are you an innovator? The EcoSafi Innovation Awards is calling for innovations that provide sanitation solutions for domestic and industrial waste. These solutions should be centered around storage and on-site treatment, conveyance or transport of waste, off-site treatment, and safe end-use or disposal. To participate in the EcoSafi Innovation Awards, register through our online submission platform on the Ministry of Water and Sanitation website. EcoSafi, sanitation for all.
When we say congratulations, it comes from the bottom of our hearts. It makes us happy when you win. That's why we pay immediate. When you take the smallest of amounts and turn them into the biggest wins, we celebrate with you. We are a family. We are stars shining together.
Toto, where's mommy?
Today's a toilet day.
What? Oh.
Selena!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow we're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
It's a toilet, not a white shirt. Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with bleach and detergent, it's your whole party ready.
Impossible.
Challenge. Harpic 10X. Even if you use bleach and detergent 10 times, they won't give you the same sparkling clean toilet that Harpic 10X will give you.
Wow!
Harpic 10X. Harpic, Kenya's #1 toilet cleaner.
This is MotoHub, ultimately Kenya's finest car dealer company. Our cars are carefully sourced and selected, backed up with excellent skilled personnel. Our aim is to ensure value for your money as well as peace of mind.
When it comes to affordability check, reliability check, finance check, quality defined check, any type of car check. Whenever you need that dream car, tutembele. Mambo hapa yamenyooka nyoro nyoro.
So, are you in need of a car? Now you know.
Wewe tu tumengoja.
Motor Hub, we are quality redefined.
Hey, mister. Where you going?
Men clean their cars themselves. I'll also clean my own bike. I'm grown up now.
Then you'll need this. The most pleasant surprise for a mother is to see her child growing up. But I know as he learns to take more responsibility, he'll face more dirt, germs, and the risk of illness.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection, because Dettol cleans and protects against 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Looking for an institution to further your studies and wholesome growth in a serene environment? Kenya Methodist University KEMU is your best choice. Join our market-driven programs at Diploma, Bachelor's, Master's and PhD in Meru, Nairobi and Mombasa campuses and shape your career path. September 2019 and January 2020 intakes are ongoing. Call us today on 0724 256 162 or 0725 751-878. Kenya Methodist University. The future is here.
Hebu nichukulie pesa hapo nyuma.
Ushaudhuba.
We, kwa nini unafanyisha mtu hii kazi kama hizi? Anafaa kwa nyumbani akicheza. Uko unataka kiwanja kako pahali.
Sasa hii maniki anadhani akifunga mlango ni same niweza, si ndio?
I told you not to call me when I'm at home. Money might get suspicious.
I miss you.
Okay, Mike. Just call me later.
Wacha kupiga hodi.
Wewe wacha kupiga hodi unaambiwa ni nini bana wewe?
Mami and Jerome tuko work.
Welcome back, and our coverage of the big count continues. Over 35 people are in custody, facing various charges of obstructing the ongoing national census. At the same time, the government moved in to ease the pain of bar owners, allowing them to continue to operate. Gladys Gashanja has our status update.
Nelly Kinja stands accused of obstructing census officials who came knocking on her door in Juja. She is said to have told them she will not take part because the government had overburdened her with payment of land rates. The mother of one who was also charged with giving false information to enumerators and using vulgar language pleaded guilty to the charges but blamed the outburst on her mental illness. The court will make its ruling after getting her medical records. In Baringo, Elchamus Ward, MCEA Joseph Lepasalach and Sabalani Location Chief Francis Olekipirich were arrested early Monday and charged with incitement. The two are accused of leading a demonstration Friday demanding that residents of Kampi Samaki be counted under Baringo South. The government says 35 people have so far been arrested on various offences. According to the Statistics Amendment Act 2019, signed into law by President Uhuru Kenyatta last month, missing out on the census could land you in jail for 1 year or cost you 500,000 shillings in fines or both. Failing to answer the enumerators' questions or giving them false information also attracts a 6-month jail term or a fine of 500,000 shillings. The government says it has put in place measures to ensure the exercise proceeds undisturbed in places troubled by insecurity, such as Baringo and Marsabit.
With just a few months since Kenyans registered for the Huduma number, questions abound over the security of the information they are giving to the census enumerators.
Kenyans should rest assured that their data is secure. I'll tell you for sure we have 3 sites in which we are actually storing this data, and it is all replicated in the 3 sites.
There was also some good news for bar owners.
You can open at 5 and drink responsibly and ensure that you are counted.
The government says it has increased the numbers of enumerators to meet the August 31st deadline. Gladys Gashanja, NTV.
Well, in the meantime, persons living with disabilities fear that they may be left out of the national census due to a communication breakdown. Well, some claim that there were no interpreters to help bridge that communication gap. NTV's Kevin Mutai has more.
The evening at about 7, I was in my house. I live alone. And then at around 9:45, that's when I slept. I didn't hear when it knocked. Then in the morning, my neighbors' friends told me that there were some people who came and knocked at my door.
On the 24th of August, census officials knocked several times on Mildred Indakala, a Malindi resident's door, but left when there was no response. With the help of an interpreter, William Wangi, she now explains to journalists how she was unable to take part in the nationwide process due to a communication breakdown. Enumerators in Malindi backed up her version of events, saying they abandoned the mission altogether as they could not understand her and there was no translator to help them communicate.
Now, it is possible for me to understand sign language and possible to answer those questions if I understand. In the whole of the population, if you look at the platform for the deaf, for the hearing impaired, all over Kenya, all of them are crying the same thing. But one thing is evident, even the correct information on the importance of these exercises was not passed to them.
A number of those living with different forms of disability fear they may be left out of the exercise. Some claim they even applied for census jobs but were not considered.
Mahali ninaishi niko na bubu. Imekuwa shida kujiandikisha na siwezi msaidia maswali mengi kwa sababu ni kidogo ninaweza communicate na yeye.
They are asking the government to provide hearing aids or provide interpreters to enable them take part in the big count. Kevin Mutai, NTV.
It's possible for me to understand sign language.
All right, let's have a look now at the issue of revenue allocation, because this census is going to have impact on your household and in guiding revenue across the board. Here now is NTV's Julian Amboko, who can break it down a little bit further.
Many thanks, Smriti. And just to give some context to this now, Article 215 of the Constitution provides for the establishment of the Commission on Revenue Allocation, whose mandate it is to recommend the basis of sharing revenues raised nationally between the national and the county governments. Now, the recommendations by the Commission on Revenue Allocations are based on 6 factors. We have the population factor, we have the equal share factor, the poverty levels in a particular county, the land area factor, fiscal effort, and finally, the development factors. Now, it is these factors that are aggregated into an equation which eventually informs the recommendations tabled by the Commission on Revenue Allocation as provided by Article 5 of the Public Finance and Management Act. Now, the revenue allocated to a county is equal to the consideration of its population plus the consideration of its equal share factor. I should clarify at this point that the equal share factor refers to the kitty, which is shared equally across the 47 counties. The formula also takes into account poverty levels, the land area, the fiscal effort, which essentially considers the degree to which a county has put in place measures to generate on-source revenue, and finally, the development factor, which takes into consideration the county government's investment in progressive projects. Now, looking at the formula, you will notice there are numbers ascribed to each of these factors. Now, this indicates the significance attached to each factor being considered when it comes to revenue allocation. In essence, a county's population is the most significant factor considered since it accounts for 45% of the total weight, followed by equitable share, which accounts for 26% of the weight. Now, poverty level comes next at 18%, I should say, followed by land area at 8% of the aggregated weighting. The fiscal effort and the development factor account for 2% and 1% respectively. And this explains why the census is important to you. When it comes to the population, for example, the county is expected to receive the lion's share of resource allocation based on the latest available data. Are Nairobi, Kakamega, Kiambu, Nakuru, Bungoma, since they are the most populous. Those set to receive the least allocation are Taita Taveta, Tana River, Samburu, Isiolo, and Lamu, since they are the least populous. On account of landmass, the county is set to receive the largest allocation at Marsabit, Turkana, Wajir, Garissa, and Tana River, owing to their relatively large landmass. Those set to receive the least allocation are Kisii, Nyamira, Nairobi, Vihiga, and Mombasa due to their relatively small size. Now, this is certainly bound to change in the event that there is review of boundaries of some or all of the counties. And that just gives us a glimpse of how the data aggregated in the census is bound to impact us. Back to you, Smriti.
All right, Julians, thanks very much. The count continues, and as you could see from that breakdown, many of you may think that why am I being asked such strange questions? But essentially it is aimed to help in resource allocation. Let's see. All right, let's shift focus now, and here's an interesting one. A businessman from Juja Farm in Kiambu County is accusing a pastor who presided over his marriage of breaking it up by running away with his wife, ending their 26-year marriage. John Kanyua, a father of 5 and seen here with another member of the church, accuses the pastor of soul-winning church in Juja of stealing his wife's heart and crushing his. Well, he claims the pastor supported them and even signed their marriage certificate. Well, Kanyua further claims that the pastor's relationship with his wife started when she was appointed an assistant pastor of their church. Her parents are said to have since contacted him, asking him to accept a repayment of the dowry that he paid for her, but he refused. The wife and the bishop were not available for comment.
Alitushikanisha kwa harusi yetu. Wanakaa na bibi kwa nyumba kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni. Na wakati niambia bishop hivyo, aliniambia ati hata nikifanya nini huko hata acha kwenda. Watoto alienda na wao. Watoto 5. Na shule mimi ndio hulipa. Sioni kama ni mchungaji, hata sioni kama ni bishop. Juu hata katika maandiko hakuna pahali imeandikwa ati unaweza sikanisha watu alafu uchukue bibi.
Love really is crazy, eh? After 26 years of marriage and 5 children, he has been left heartbroken. All right, let's look at other news from across the borders now. And Sudan's newly created Sovereign Council formally declared a state of emergency in the city of Port Sudan following tribal clashes that police said have killed 16 people. The clashes between members of the Beni Amer and Nuba tribes, which have flared up in the past, were reignited on Wednesday and continued into Saturday morning. Now, this comes at a delicate time for Sudan following the signing of a power-sharing agreement earlier this month. The acting governor and the head of the National Security Service for the Eastern Red Sea state, of which Port Sudan is the capital, were both dismissed following the incident. Did you know that former President Jomo Kenyatta's body was once secretly removed from the crypt at night after only 3 months in the Parliament Grounds mausoleum and returned to the city mortuary? It was later reburied. Get your copy of the Daily Nation and read about how the military took the casket containing the body of Mzee to the city mortuary in the middle of the night. All right, so make sure you get your copy of the Daily Nation. It's 15:15 the hour. This is NTV Tonight. Do stay with us. There's more coming up, including bad CBA or rogue pilots. Who's to blame for the frequent KQ flight cancellation sinkhole? We'll tell you more in Business with Julian's Ambogo.
Now you can get your Uber ride with a phone call. Call 0800 722 000 to ride.
Beat germs with Jik. Kills 99.9% of germs on your kitchen surfaces, sponges, chopping boards, sink and fridge, and your bathroom taps, shower head, basin and surfaces. Just Jik it. Look out for our new improved packaging in store. Just Jik it.
Mgeni, pole, imejaa.
Ni nini? Tunakujua kwa nini wazee wetu wanapotelea kwako.
Ndio tuko tunataka kujua siri yako.
Siri ndio hiyo. Introducing the new salad oil with a spout for easy use. Comes packed with omega-6 and 9 and vitamin A and D and at a price that doesn't dent your wallet.
Leo utakula nyumbani.
Salad. Siri ndio hiyo. Here you go.
Okay, thank you.
Hi there. Selena, it's great seeing you getting so much value for your money.
Well, it's important to save as much as you can.
You save everywhere. Except for here. This is where you're throwing money down the drain.
How?
On these cleaning products.
Impossible.
Harpic 10X. While other cleaners flow away, Harpic 10X's viscous formula in only one round of application gives you sparkling, clean toilet. Harpic, 10 times better cleaning than other cleaning products.
And great savings too.
Eldoret Technical Training Institute, ETTI, is a student-centered institution. Let us show you the way to become the next generation of great market leaders, technical experts, innovators, and solution providers. Apply now for our September intakes in higher diploma, and certificate in the following courses: engineering, business administration, purchasing and supply management, general agriculture, tourism and hospitality, teaching, information communication technology, accounting, journalism and mass communication. Eldoret Technical Training Institute, growing reputation.
You in the pollution? Yes, you. Dry throat? Strepsils. Gal in the smoke with a raspy voice? Strepsils. Hello, in the downpour with a scratchy throat? Take Strepsils. Get soothing relief for any throat irritation. Strepsils with its medicinal ingredients will heal the ham down to your throat from external factors. Strepsils. Strepsils for a dry, itchy, raspy, scratchy throat.
Investing in the taxi business just got bigger and better with Maridadi Motors Smart PSVs. Buy a Smart Cab Plus from us at 1.25 million shillings and get 47,000 every month. A Smart Chap Chap Cab at 675,000 shillings and get 25,000 every month. Best news yet, we manage the cab for you and give you guaranteed returns every month. Maridadi Motors. Move your status.
It's okay, I'm okay.
What happened?
It's just a little scratch, Mom. How can I play with bigger boys? If I'm afraid of little scratches, right?
What comforts a mother most is to see her child growing up.
Done, I'll go.
Of course. But I know that as he learns to be brave, he will face even more germs and the risk of infection.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection, because Dettol kills 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Let's get down to business, shall we? My name is Julian Amboko. Now, Kenya is set to benefit from at least 50,000 new jobs in the maritime sector over the medium term as a direct result of its entry into the League of Oil Exporting Countries. Alex Mwangi explains why.
Tumpongeze kwa makofi Mheshimiwa Rais.
History was made this morning when President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off the first consignment of Kenya's oil for export. It's the culmination of a journey that actually started decades ago.
The history of oil and gas exploration in Kenya dates back to 1937, when the first attempts at extraction of commercially viable deposits were made.
Kenya found commercially viable deposits of oil in 2012. The issue of dividing the dividends of the black gold among locals and the country at large has proved problematic for the government.
Mafuta sio ya watu wa Turkana, ni ya Wakenya. Lakini tunataka kuhakikisha hata pahali ambapo imetoka watu huko wamefaidika.
With the flag off, 136 Kenyan seafarers were sent out to the high seas from an already recruited group of 275. Kenya is expected to earn 1.2 billion shillings from the sale of the 200,000 barrels of crude to a Chinese company. Last month, Kenya signed an agreement with a Mediterranean shipping company that is a shareholder of the Kenya National Shipping Line.
Through the Mediterranean Shipping Company, the Kenya National Shipping Line will gain access to more than 500 ports across the world. This will enable us to ship our oil and other exports through our national carrier and to get many, many more of our young people working in the maritime industry.
The execution of that agreement is, however, a matter in court. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
And away from matters oil, let's fly into headwinds. Now, national carrier Kenya Airways will tomorrow announce its financial results for the half-year ended June 30th, 2019, amid a brewing dispute between the management and the pilots over frequent disruptions of scheduled flights. Kenya Airways blames its pilots for cancellations, while its pilots say that the airline's troubles are as a result of management failure, even as a negotiation of existing agreements reportedly hit a snag.
Over the last 5 years, Kenya Airways has suddenly been flying in turbulence with piling debts and mounting losses. But in recent months, the carrier appears to be struggling to even take off, so much that a total of 542 flights have been cancelled since January this year, driving flight delay compensation and accommodation costs for passengers up by 250%. At least 182 of the 542 flights cancelled were as a result of crew shortage, which KQ blames on the collective bargaining agreement, which it says the pilots are using to frustrate its operations. Under the CBA, on-duty pilots and even those on standby can call in sick and be away for up to 48 hours without producing a medical note. KQ also says the current CBA restricts it from hiring additional pilots for some fleet, leaving it seriously understaffed. The pilots, on the other hand, argue that the airline's woes are as a result of management failure and that the pilots are being used as the scapegoat, promising to soon hit back with their version of the truth. Sources within the airline indicate that renegotiations of the CBA between the airline and the pilots have since hit a snag, meaning the airline could continue cancelling more flights and sinking deeper into losses. Meanwhile, KQ closed trading at the Nairobi Securities Exchange at 2 shillings and 65 shillings a share, a slight improvement from the 2 shillings and 53 cents on Friday, the lowest since it listed on the stock exchange in 1996. The airline's investors, who have been losing billions of shillings in paper wealth as the KQ share takes a beating, are now crossing fingers and hoping that tomorrow's half-year results announcement can revitalize their dwindling investment. Victor Kiprop, NTV Business.
And let's move back to the ports now. Over 33 shipping companies will in September 2019 tour the port of Lamu as the government expects to launch the first berth that has a capacity to hold 14,000 20-foot containers. Construction work for the first berth is said to be 98% complete, and President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to launch the facility in October. Kibra Mutai has more from Lamu.
Lamu is set to become a major shipping hub when the port opens in October this year. The first berth is almost complete, with construction of the second and third underway, but expected to be fully operational in the next year. The first berth will soon be receiving cargo vessels and will accommodate up to 14,000 20-feet equivalent units. The government is expected to spend more than 2 trillion shillings to complete all the 32 berths under the Lamu Port South Sudan Ethiopia Transport Corridor LAPSET.
Now in the process of doing land acquisition. This land acquisition is a 500-meter wide corridor, so we want to acquire that land where we'll have the crude oil pipeline, where we're also going to have the road and the railway.
The transport corridor linking Kenya with other countries will also open up construction of the standard gauge railway and a road network.
Mradi mengine ambao tunatarajia pia kufanywa industrial parks, kwa sababu uchumi kupanuka lazima kuwe na viwanda, na itakuwa rahisi wawekezaji wakijenga viwanda karibu na bandari, sababu kutakuwa na cost zitakuwa chini. Kutengeneza bidhaa zao kisha na poti kwa hapo kusafirisha.
Once complete, the port of Lamu will create job opportunities as well as attract large shipping vessels, thereby easing traffic at the port of Mombasa.
With a capacity of 1.2 million TEUs annually, the port of Lamu will not only generate more income to the country's economy, but will also place Kenya in a competitive position in the maritime industry. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Lamu County.
And Kenya continues to rely heavily on imported sugar to supply the high demand of the sweetener, with imports increasing by 10% last month compared to a corresponding period last year. Kenya imported 35,000 tons in July compared to 32,000 tons imported in the same period in 2018. This has been attributed to the declining production in most sugar mills, which dropped by 7% between January and June. It is in its monthly report, rather, the Sugar Directorate says the country will continue to rely on imports if local production of sugar does not pick up. Entrance Century has swung back to profitability, posting a net profit of 298 million shillings for the first 6 months of 2019 compared to a loss of 684 million shillings at the same period last year. The shift into positive territory is attributed to a surge in its net income from other sources besides sales, which went up to 1.3 billion shillings for the period, up from 145 million shillings in last year. The value of the company's total assets went up marginally during the 6 months by just 0.02% to 16.7 billion shillings. Net finance costs dropped from 444 million shillings to 322 million, another factor which contributed to the company stepping out of the red zone. And that's it from the business desk. Up next is the financial report. And that's it from business, but still to come. From a salesperson to a trainer on artificial intelligence, Bridget Angira's journey coming up in this week's My Job.
Why are you filming, Mummy?
To help people stop getting sick. People think the weather makes them sick. Actually, it's the germs. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs, including the cold and flu virus.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Nation FM. More music and less talk. Nairobi 96.3, Mombasa 101.5, Meru 93.9, Nyeri 104.9, Eldoret 102.7, and Nakuru on 97.7. Follow us on social media on Facebook at Nation FM, Instagram at Nation FM, and on Twitter at Nation FM KE. Nation FM. More music and less talk.
NTV Tonight with Smriti Vidyarthi.
Welcome back. All right, now to our story, My Job. And Bridget Angira is a young data specialist trained in artificial intelligence and now trains others in the same field. But she wasn't always a data expert. NTV's Mel Miendo traces her journey from the hospitality industry to artificial intelligence, where she now trains others on how to get machines to understand humans in this week's My Job segment.
Tech is completely new for me. So at the beginning, I wasn't sure if this is what I really wanted to get into, and I wasn't really sure what all this is about. And from hotel industry, it took me some time to get things, how things are going on and stuff. But I'm happy that I had people who supported me. I started working as a salesperson immediately after high school because I didn't get a chance to go to college. Basically, my work was just to sell. So there was nothing much I was learning from there. So coming here, I feel I was a freshman. Everything was totally new. Tech needs creativity and innovation. And the fact that when I came in, these are things that I had not seen myself doing. And currently the fact that I'm involved in creating driverless cars, I feel like Africa is, it's right now, AI is currently venturing in Africa, and Africa is not ready for it. So I feel when I leave, if I get a different opportunity, I will be way ahead of people because this is something I have done, and I'm lucky that I have done it for 4 years now. So I feel so much equipped and I feel ahead of other people.
So we have 2,000 youth, women and youth that are training data from our office here in Nairobi, and 54% of them are actually female. So that makes us proud that we are leveling the play field for both the boy child and the girl child, and ensuring that everyone gets equal pay for equal work. We are taking people that have completed high school, but we are also not excluding guys who have gone to college and studied different disciplines. What we realize is the level of unemployment in Kenya is very high, but we are able to employ people, so we're not going to exclude people depending on their discipline in university. So they are coming in on the same level.
We are creating cars that do not need a driver. So our projects we do them using image annotations. So our clients know how they use them to put them in the algorithms to fit in what they're looking for. So we help them create whatever it is they are looking for. We call them softwares. We help them create the softwares that they'll need for the driverless cars. And it's basically you get into the car, you press where you want to go, and the car drives you. So there's so many other mini projects that takes care of the traffic lights, it takes care of the roads, the marking on the roads, the signs, and everything.
What a switch in careers. That's My Job by Mel Miendo. Time for a quick breather, and coming up, it's the sports news with Warode.
Hii ni ya wale wanajitambua, yani wale wanajiamini. Yani someone took their sweet time and thought about us. Rembo TV, simply beautiful.
Hebu nichukulie pesa hapo nyuma.
Tosha ududa.
We, kwa nini unafanyisha mtu hii kazi kama hizi? Anafaa kwa nyumbani akicheza.
Uko unataka kiwanja kali.
Sasa hii Maniki anadhani akifunga mlango ndio sasa ameniweza, si ndio?
I told you not to call me when I'm at home. Tiffany might get suspicious.
I miss you.
Okay, Mike. Just call me later.
Wacha kupiga honi.
Wewe wacha kupiga honi, unaambiwa ni nini bana wewe?
Mami and Jerome tuko work. Antibus.
It's time to play. Welcome to NTV Sport. I am Warothe. We start with the Africa Games and the national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, to the semi-finals of the Africa Games. Paul Bitok's Charges have won twice on the trot and are well on their way to defend the title they won in Congo-Brazzaville in 2015. In their first match, the Malkias got sweet revenge against Cameroon, who beat them early this year in the Africa Cup of Nations. Well, in the second match played this evening, Kenya eased past Senegal 3-0 of 25-11, 25-15 and 25-12. Now, Ida Oringa is in Rabat, Morocco, and she brings us this comprehensive update of exactly what has been going on for the last 1 week. Kenya already has a couple of medals, but tonight is where, for Kenyans actually, the action starts, because the athletics action started this evening, and we have results from the 3,000 meters steeplechase. Did Conseslus Kipruto get to win, or was there a surprise? There's also the 5,000 meters women's race that is just ongoing currently with Lilian Kasait and Lydia Ruto in action. Also, Kenya has been having quite an interesting turn of events. The ladies are coming through for Kenya. The 4x400 meters medley women's swimming team did win Kenya a medal. Also, the beach volleyball team. So this shows that our diversity is improving, but as usual, our forte is athletics, and Ida Waringa enjoyed the athletics action tonight.
A good day in the office for Kenya here in Rabat, Morocco for the 2019 African Games. Now we are at the Moulay Abdallah Stadium, where the 3,000 meters men steeplechase final has just concluded, with a surprise winner, Benjamin Kigen, taking it for Kenya. Now, a lot of people thought that Conseslus Kipruto, who is the Olympic and world champion, would get it, but unfortunately he did pull himself out of the race. Kipruto being one of the final Kenyan athletes to land here in Rabat, Morocco, and there were rumors circulating about Kipruto actually being quite fatigued and quite tired, and needless to say, that did show here on the track at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium.
Mimi sijaona Kipruto. Mimi nilikuwa nakimbia, sikuwa natarajia Kipruto ametoka. Mimi nilikuwa na focus mwenye yako mbele. My mind ni kuona tu mwenye yako mbele. Sitaki kuona nyuma. Kuona mwenye yako mbele peke yake.
Now, just to give you a quick medal count here in Rabat in terms of Kenya, so far 2 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and 3 bronze medals. Huge news as well for the national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, who did continue their campaign in terms of their title defense, playing out their final Group B game, this time against Senegal. Don't forget that the Malkia did beat Cameroon on Sunday, on Saturday I do believe, and of course they have finished the job clinically against Senegal in a 3-0 set wipeout. Kenya won her first gold medal. That was last night in basketball. Caroline Njeri winning it in the shooting category. And the ladies here in Morocco have been simply outstanding. Just to take you through the rest of the winners of the medals so far here in Morocco, beach volleyball, as we did report a few days ago, was actually won by Egypt, but they did beat Kenyan duo of Gadencia Makoha and of course Naomi Tor. That was in the final. Makoha and Tor scooping silver there, and Evelyn Alwoch did take Taekwondo silver as well, or bronze I should say, in the 67 to 73 kgs. Faith Wanjiko took Taekwondo silver. That was in the 73 kgs. Nancy Akinyi took the ladies marathon in the mountain bike, and I should say quadruple of Rebecca Kamau, Emily Muteti, and the Brunler sisters won the 4x100 meters medley in swimming. Tomorrow will feature the 800 women's final. That will be at around 7:30 p.m. East African time, and that will be followed about 45 minutes later by the 10,000 men final at around 8:15 p.m. back there in Kenya. Now, I'm going to go back to the media center now. I want to wrap it up. State-of-the-art equipment and even a restaurant, so let me go grab dinner.
Well, as Ida goes to grab dinner, we say congratulations to all the ladies who are doing Kenya proud, and also to Ida. Incidentally, she's there as a part of the IPS young reporters. She's one of the 9 reporters from across the continent who are getting a chance to report on the Africa Games. And keeping it continental, but onto football, Kenyan Premier League defending champions Gor Mahia will renew their rivalry with Algeria's USM Alger. Kogalo will be in the hunt for revenge as the North Africans beat them 2-1 in Algiers in a CAF Confederation Cup Group D encounter after the two sides had previously drawn 0-0 in Nairobi. Stephen Pollard's charges sailed into the first round after a 5-1 aggregate win over Burundi's Aigol Noir. The winner of the first round will sail into the CAF Champions League group stage, while the loser will drop to the CAF Confederation Cup playoffs. Meanwhile, Gor's coach has set his eye on the new KPL season.
We're the champions, and we're going to be competitive in every game that we play, and we'll see at the end of the season, and by God's grace, we'll have the trophy again.
And keeping it continental, Bandari will be looking to progress to the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup for the first time when they play USBG of Tunisia in the first round. Bandari won the rights to face the North Africans after winning their preliminary round on away goal rule. The Dockers drew 0-0 with Sudan's El Ali Shendi in Nairobi before securing a 1-1 draw in Khartoum in the return leg. 3 seasons ago, Bandari was bundled out of the competition in the first round by DRC's St. Eloi Lupopo, but coach Bernard Molala is determined to go past this hurdle this time round. On to golf, and golf parks, David Wahu produced so far the lowest round of the 2 under par 69 to join Railway's Alfred Nandwa and Royal Nairobi's Dennis Saikwa at the top of the leaderboard after day 2 action of the 2019-2020 Safari Tour Golf Series at the par 71 Nyali Golf and Country Club course. Dennis Saikwa shot his second straight 72, while Nandwa carded 2 over par 73. Home pro Njuguna Ngugi made a big leap from 23rd to 4th to tie with Mutaiga's Greg Snow, finishing a shot behind Ngugi, and Snow was the newcomer Matthew Wahome. The only amateur to make it to the final 2 rounds was Daniel Nduva. Of the visiting players, only Uganda's Opio Onito and Tanzania's long-hitting Nuru Mulel made the second round cut. And let's keep it golf, but across the borders and on a very, very lucrative scale. Rory McIlroy won the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup in Atlanta on Sunday, collecting the biggest first prize in the sport, $15 million. That is around 1.5 billion Kenya shillings. The Northern Irishman emphatically
He'll give you everything.
Do you want to worship in style?
5 billion shillings for a round of golf. Well, and let's finish this up with a celebration. And anyone who follows Kenyan football knows that scoring goals is a big problem both in the Kenyan Premier League and also in the national football team setup. So Gor Mahia scoring 5 times in a continental assignment is a big deal. And those goals are NTV Sport moment of the weekend. And as we wrap it up on our Sporting Bulletin, do have a lovely night. I am Warothe Kiru.
Warothe, thanks for these sports news. More, of course, tomorrow. It's just gone past 10 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us on NTV Tonight. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Flora Atieno. Do stay tuned, though. Mark Masai is up next with his panel on Press Pass.